Yeah, all right. Well, Sarnia Sting, as you can see, out on the ice, warming up to take on the Sudbury Wolves. Hello, everybody. I'm David Burrows, and tonight, Lee Bazeley joining me pregame, covering again for our friend Jay Peckham, who's taking care of his health. And
He's slacking.
Yeah, he is. I know. I guarantee you, no matter what he's dealing with, he'll be watching us to see if we even say his name.
He should be here. He should be braving the weather.
Oh,
He should
yeah.
be making it out to the game. He's probably sitting somewhere with his feet up, wearing some pajamas of some kind.
With Catherine waiting on him.
Having people serve him hand and foot,
Yeah.
Catherine and others, I'm sure. Get off your butt, lazy.
Yeah, here we
Come
go.
on.
Honest to goodness, Jay, we wish you the best and a good recovery, buddy. I know he'll be back. He's got the positive mind for that. Sudbury Wolves in the house here tonight. Man, they're first in their division. Another top team that the Sarnia Sting are really going to have to bring their game after I'll say it, that was a thumping 9-2 game. And, Alan Latang, I'll come back to him once again. We had him at post-game. This is a coach who just never sugarcoats anything and is straight to the point. He was asked a question, your take on tonight's game, and he simply said, I don't have a take on tonight's game. We didn't show up, we didn't compete, and he said, we could excuse it to a couple new players and blah, 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 blah. He goes, but at the end of the day, there's still an expectation, and that expectation was not even close to have been met. You'd agree with all that?
Absolutely. We can make excuses all we want. And, some of the stuff that, that they want to make excuses for, is it going to be a factor in how they play the game? Yeah. Yes, but no, Alan Tang was 100% correct. They just didn't show up that night. And they got thumped.
I had somebody come to me and they said, well, after the first one, why didn't they change the goalie? Why didn't they pull Nick Szczycka? And I'm like, my opinion was Nick wasn't doing anything wrong.
No.
It's just he was hung out to dry a lot of times.
100% he was. There's one thing to be said for the defense playing poorly.
Yeah.
There's another thing to be said for the defense not showing up at all.
Yeah.
And that was what was happening the other night against London. They were walking right in on Nick, with uncontested.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I saw two London players passing it back and forth in front of Nick Szczycka with nobody around from the Sarnia Sting to help out. So, they can say all they want about, oh, my God, we're down 5-0. Why aren't they pulling the goalie? It wasn't the goalie's fault. It was not Nick Szczycka's fault. He did everything he could. I think of those 5 goals, there was maybe one that he could have stopped, but even that was not a given for sure. That's why he didn't get pulled, because he, like you said, he wasn't doing anything wrong.
Yeah. Even though, at one point we were looking, I think it was 40 shots on goal for the Sarnia Sting. They were shooting the puck. They were close to the same amount of shots on goal. They just weren't any quality shots. And honestly, I think
exactly.
Jay Peckham would say, you can't shoot it right at the goalie. You've got to get around that goalie, right? And so that was a frustration. At the end of the day, we're not here to beat up the Sarnia Sting. We're just here to talk about the obvious, I think, that a lot of people, and Alan Latang himself spoke about, and others involved behind the scenes that I spoke with, they were like, So here you are. I was talking to Lee Cunningham earlier. Of course, Lee Cunningham, Pat DeRoche on CHOK. You can listen to the play-by-play there. And he was like, first of all, he says, it's a new day. You can hit the reset button and move on. And he said, I forget the numbers exactly he told me, but we seem to play really well against East Division teams for some reason.
True, yeah.
Right? So maybe that's a positive factor for tonight.
Yeah, and what we've seen lots of times in the past, too, is when they come off a really bad loss like that, I don't know if it's conversations had in the locker room after, if it's how they step it up at practices, the few days following big losses like that. But it doesn't seem to really get them down and put them into a slump.
Yeah.
We see them, I want to say more often than not, come back from a bad loss like that, looking strong and hungry for the W. And hopefully we'll see that here tonight.
Yeah, well, that's what it's going to take. They seem to have the mindset. And going back to Alan Latang, I'm just kind of repeating what the coach says. He says, they're not naive to the fact of what this team is right now. They are young. They are in rebuild mode, and it's step by step to move up to the next level into next year and the year after that. So in the meantime, I mean, you go in Sting Nation, right, in the Facebook group. Come on, folks. Like, there were some really nasty comments in there about Coach. Like, at the end of the day, it is a rebuild, and patience is what it really takes right now. There's got to be a lot of patience. I feel for Coach Letang and the other coaches as well. You know, he's away at the World Juniors, didn't work out like we would have seen. You know, you leave a team to go do that that's already struggling, then you come back and wow, and like what I saw there was an emotional Letang as well, and he held on to it well, but frustration, like, why wouldn't you be frustrated, right?
Absolutely.
But he also is one with his philosophy, knows that it's time to move forward.
Yeah. And like he said, to add to that too, you know, he said, you know, this team knows where we're at. He said, you know, we're a fresh team, we're a new team, we're a young team.
Yeah.
But he also added to that saying, but there's still an expectation to show up every night and to play at a competitive level. You know, it doesn't matter. I mean, in my mind, anyway, it might matter to him and to the team, of course. But it from what it sounds like to me, what he was saying, it doesn't matter if you win, lose, or whatever. As long as you show up and be competitive, then at least that's a positive that we can work on. Show up to win, you know, put every effort into it, which that was not happening. And I can understand the fans of Sting Nation, of course, being upset about an effort that was lacking there.
100%.
But at the same time, to some of the stuff that's being said and some of the viewpoints that's being made, it's almost like all they are is upset about the loss, but they didn't really pay attention to what was happening, especially all the negative comments about Nick Zerzica, because, I mean, in a bad game like that, a bad loss like that, he was kind of for me anyway, he was kind of a standout as the one positive that he actually held it to. I mean, it was a bad score, don't get me wrong, it's 9 goals, but, I mean, it was, I think, big on him that he was actually able to hold it to that low of a number.
I thought so too, I thought he played very well, all things considered. So. Obviously, we're here looking for a win tonight, and we're about 14 minutes away currently from the Sarnia Sting coming out, hopefully, with guns a-blazing, so to speak, because they're going to have to head on. Sudbury Wolves got a really strong offensive side to them, and that's going to make our defense have to work even harder than maybe something they're used to. So hopefully we'll see that. And I think Nick is starting again. I haven't caught that just yet. But either way, I know I still have belief in this team here.
Absolutely,
And I think the fans do. The numbers of people who are showing up, we were like, I know it was London, but it was like over 4,000 people here in the arena. We're going to be close to that again tonight. They've been hitting record numbers all season, so that says a lot for the fans showing up here. They even put the numbers up on the screen now and said thank you to all the fans for the support. And, you know, that's you and your family here as well, just sticking by the Sarnia Sting.
Oh, it's a great time. You know, like I said, we do have faith in this team. We understand what the situation is for this year. And as, like, I think most people, you know, maybe not the new season ticket holders are just fresh this year, but the ones who have been sticking with this team all along, year after year after year, and have that understanding, you know, not only just how hockey works, but especially how junior hockey at this level works. It comes in waves. You know, you have your good seasons, you have your bad seasons. You stick with it, you support the team, because, I mean, I don't know about anybody else. Win or lose, every time I come into the arena here, I'm having a good time. Yeah,
right on. All right, well, that's about all we're going to talk about. I think it was pretty obvious what we were going to talk about pregame here. But obviously looking for the W again tonight, and pretty confident the Sarnia Sting are going to come out strong here. They're going to have to if they're going to take on the Sudbury Wolves. We'll be back. Lee will join me again. First period intermission, and of course, Connor Burke will be back, second period intermission, and then we'll have the post-game press conference as well. But right now, live with the Sarnia Sting from the Sarnia Sting concourse, I'm David Burrows and my friend Lee Bazeley. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Go Sting, go!